I think, yeah.
Okay.
Appears to be.
Yeah, it's set.
7 o'clock, open the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First order of business is our consent agenda. Consists of regular meeting minutes dated June 9th, 2025, special board meeting minutes, June 24th, 2025, special board meeting minutes, June 26th, 2025, our monthly bills in the amount of $632,248.69, and our treasurer's report.
I move to approve the consent agenda, which consists of the regular meeting minutes of June 9th, 2025, the special meeting minutes of June 24th, 2025, the special meeting minutes of June 26th, 2025, and the township payroll and monthly bills in the amount of $632,248.69, and acknowledge the treasurer's report.
Support. We have a motion on floor with support. Any discussion, questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
On the bills. The one from the village for the insurance, for insurance coverage. That's for the
building insurance, because we don't have that building.
we own half that building. Have
What's it
we
for?
ever,
I can't hear you over here. For the insurance on the police building,
We own any of that
we
building?
own half of that building, yes.
Really?
is there a document showing where we paid this before?
That I did not, I'd have to look.
And
I don't
is
know.
there an agreement that we are to pay half of this insurance for the police department? Before I could approve this one bill, I would like to see some documents backing up this bill. That's where I'm at. That's me. So I don't know if anybody else has anything.
I have to agree with Randy. It's 3 years old. I don't know that we own half that building. Where does that show that we agreed to pay for the building insurance?
Well, because the building is on our property, we own half this building, we own half that
I
building.
guess we're just asking for documentation.
I'd like to see the document saying that we own half that building and own half this building. I think if they came right down to it, the village is going to say they own all this. That's my 2 cents on that. So.
So, how
What's
much
your
was that
pleasure,
bill for?
Randy? I mean, you want to pull that
You want to pull
particular?
that bill out of it?
That is correct. The
Okay.
total of that's $3803.74. And it's for the past 3 years, which why all of a sudden hand us a bill now?
Do we have documents that specifically outline what properties and what ownership we have of all these? Because I've heard stories that we lease this building, we own half the building, we lease that building, we own half that building. There has to be some formal deed or document that forever settles what we own. And I guess if we own half of that police building, I would think any modifications and so forth that are being made, we should at least be made aware of and approve because it's half our building. But I don't know. I've heard all different stories about property ownership.
And, even the cleaning of it, do we get charged for the cleaning? Seems how we own half of it? As far as I know, we only get charged, we
This
pay,
building, we do.
that's it.
I think that bill, I'm not 100%, but I'm 95% sure our cleaning bill includes cleaning that building.
Okay.
I had talked with Roberta a few weeks ago about this, and she is the one that told me that we did own half of that police building. As a historical reference, I believe her, but I will locate those documents that 100% show that.
That may be a challenge, but
I will give it a 1,000% try to get those documents because I was not aware of that either until she told me that.
But
I
that,
heard the same thing Mike heard.
Yeah.
We
That-
don't, we do.
one person's idea. I'm not doubting that Roberta knows exactly, but I think there has to be a document somewhere that has the village's name and our name on it, and it says ownership percentage and
It's gotta be a deed somewhere.
somewhere.
I-
Can't
And
just be
there
Roberta.
should be an agreement on what we pay for, what they pay for. That's what needs to be spelled out. I'm gonna guess that it's gonna say, yeah, we own half of it, but I'll guarantee you that I think I had a little conversation with Carol, and I asked Carol, did we ever pay for insurance on it? She says, huh? You know, and so she was not aware of it. But, yeah,
All right.
I'm sure there's,
So Kim, do you want to amend your motion for that
Yes.
dollar amount?
Yes, how much was it?
The new dollar amount would be $628,444.95.
$44.98, you said? 95. Yes, I'll amend my motion to that. And I will look and locate any sort of document that gives us any sort of detail on what we own.
Okay. Anything else from the board?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Talking about insurance. What is it's line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down, 5788, 9182, Decker Insurance, 7912. What is that insurance?
Are you on what bank code are you on, 101?
101G, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Jenny?
Yeah, let me just,
1,
What'd you
2,
say?
3, 4, 6th line down, Decker
Decker.
Agency.
yeah, that's our insurance for like the fire trucks and like the police will have that, or not the police. The fire department has theirs on it. That's our annual insurance.
Okay, once a year.
Yep, me and Gary met with them in the beginning of June and went over the contract, and then I brought you guys that invoice in June and showed you what it was increasing. So that's for that.
Okay, thank you.
And so it's also for the buildings too, like the fire department.
Fire department?
Yeah, yep.
Anything else from the board? Reference to bills?
I got one more question, Gary. Page 3, third line from the bottom, Village of Almont, DPW labor and materials for $2,900. Is that for this building?
That's for them doing, mowing, and they do it once a year. They charge us.
So that's an annual fee.
That's an annual fee that we pay every year, yes.
Does that include snow removal?
Yes. No
Okay.
salting the sidewalks, any kind of stuff as
Okay.
far as that.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else? Okay, we have a motion on the floor with support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Our report section, Fire Department, Mr. Stein.
Up to June, the total MS fire emergency runs was 25. There were 35 transports by the Bear County EMS. And 13 fire runs, various types of vehicles, all executions, also to installation to carbon dioxide, smoke and the burners. That's our run. 2 weeks ago, we went to South Haven and did a final inspection on the new engine. And we found a few little minor details that we had to correct, and a few add-ons that we had, a couple of grab handles and some different seals for the compartment doors, recalibration of the phone system, what else is
Questions for,
So when's the delivery supposed to be of that?
there? Coming soon.
Coming soon? You guys have to go get it?
No, we told them we didn't want to get it.
Okay,
We made them drive over here.
okay,
3 hour ride.
okay,
So we're thinking the next couple of weeks,
okay.
as soon as they can get the instructor lined up. We received detailed instructions on it. We wanted everybody to have the same exposure to the instructions at the same time, so we asked them to bring it over and put on a little tone show.
You have any idea when that's, you don't have any idea when that's gonna be, Dick? They'll just let
Next
you know.
couple of weeks, I would assume,
Wow,
but we don't
okay.
have anything concrete.
Let me ask you about Apollo. Do they come out to the fire hall to do the services that you got in here?
Yes,
Okay.
sometimes, depends on what it is.
Yeah, you got several.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good they come to you.
We have to go down there when they do the, pump test and like that. When they do the DOT inspections, they come here and run it through the camera.
Where are they located, Dick?
Romeo,
Oh, Romeo, oh, okay. I got one question on your extraction. How did that go?
which one?
You got two of them there. How did the guys, I know you guys were talking several years ago about some jaws that you were wanting that were battery operated or
We
something like
got
that.
those.
How did that go?
They work well.
And the guys did pretty good with it. That is so important.
Yep, yep. We had to move the door off on an SUV on Dryden Road to get the lady out. And they just had, and one in front of McDonald's, they had to just pop the door open so the gal could get out.
Yeah, that's good.
But they were good.
Good to hear. And then did you have a fire in Dryden?
Yes, the furthest southwestern corner of Dryden Township. It was a house that was worth, I think it was 1.6 million. So there wasn't a whole lot to say on it. Apparently the guy was months behind on payments and a whole lot of other stories going on. But we don't get involved with that because that's not our area.
How's that doing?
Real well.
Good.
Yep. Yep, I think that's going to be an asset to us in the future.
Any potential future candidates that you guys?
We haven't really advertised it yet because we want to run this one through a while and see how everything goes. So far, it's working out pretty well.
Thanks, Dick.
thanks, Dick.
Yep.
Police Department. Got the Clemens activity log in front of us. Any questions, comments, concerns?
I don't know if anybody did the calculation. We were 41% of the activity last month.
Say that again, Mike.
We were, according to the Clemens report, the township represented 41% of the police activity last month.
On this report.
Yes. Subtract out the school liaison from both columns. Yes.
That's about what we've seen in the past, right, Mike?
It
35?
was, depending on, you know this as well as I, depending on which direction you look at it, between 35 and 42.
Roger.
Yep.
I have noticed that the portable speed limit signs have been moving around the township and the village. So I think that's a good thing.
I noticed we don't have officers anymore. Again,
We will speak with them.
we don't have police representation.
Anything else on the police report? I don't have an assessor report. We do have a new assessor. I will have to speak with him as to why we don't have one or instruct him that we need one. OEO, we all should all have copies of the OEO reports. Any questions, comments, concerns? Reference those reports.
You've got to take it up with Joe. I see this letter about reshingling the home requires a building permit. I got to take that up with Joe, but that's kind of hard to understand.
Park Board.
Did you attend that meeting, Dennis? Did you go to the park board this past month?
I probably did.
I think you covered for me on that one. And
Yeah, they've got, the typical list of things. They've done pretty good with the music in the park. The first one was a very good success. I think it ended up inside. They do have a punch list of things that need to be done, gravel in the parking lot, mulch in the play area and some other things. And, and they're still looking at pickleball courts. They're doing a pretty good job of really screening that through, but it's extremely expensive. And they're going to look for grant money and I think the two Howells are really champion that stuff, and they work pretty hard to try to find people that do that. If you ever go through Lakeville, Lakeville has a beautiful pickleball court over there. I don't know how they do it.
Do they use it?
Pardon me?
Does it get used?
Well, I've been by there a couple of times, and yeah, it's being used. I don't know how they rent the equipment or whatever, because it's right by the sheriff's department.
great.
Has,
So they're out.
has the village ponied up their additional $5,000?
I think they were ahead of us, Mike.
They already had theirs in?
Yep, I believe so.
I think were they at 25,000 this year? Their portion?
No, I thought they were at 17, same as ours.
I'll double check it. I'll report back to the board what their portion is. I'll double check it to see what their contribution was. And just so, the gentleman who asked me about the meeting with the park board and doing some improvements, and this was a few years ago. I don't know if you guys remember that. I did check on that, and this was more than a few years ago. This was quite a long time ago. But the good thing is all the different improvements and the things that were discussed that people wanted to see, those things are included in the park master plan. And so those are still part of the discussion and still part of we want to do this list. So those have not been forgotten. They're in there. And then also, I don't know if everybody's aware, but part of the wonderful part about being a park board representative is the fact that we are tasked with volunteering to go up after the facility has been rented and double check that the bathrooms are cleaned up and the kitchen is cleaned up. And we do that in order to verify that the people who rented it can get their cleaning deposit back. Apparently that's been a very big issue, because if you are the lucky park board member who shows up and it has not been done, you better have your spray and paper towels, because you're the person cleaning it up. And so there has been some real initial discussion about possibly raising the deposit in the hope that will encourage people to clean up after their own messes. So that is yet to be determined.
What was that dollar figure?
I think right now they get $50 for a deposit, and that's just not enough to kind of make sure and give people the energy to clean up all the time if they have a tremendous mess. It's worth it for them just to let that go and not worry about it. But by raising the deposit up, they're hoping that will maybe solve some future problems. I will let the board know what that is, when and if that happens.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, if not, we'll move on to public comment. Anything from the public here tonight? Or you'd like to ask a question, vent, any comments? Okay, new business, the police contract. That police contract has not been signed yet. There was some discussion over the verbiage in the old contract and what our attorney put together. Part of my motion was that both attorneys sit down and, or at least the village attorney sits down and reviews it. When the village board approved the contract, they approved the verbiage in the old contract, which initially they didn't think was good enough, I guess. I did talk to Mr. Siebert about it. He says, well, I'm not real excited about how it was written, but it is a contract that has worked for the communities over the years. When I look at the comparison of Mr. Siebert's calling it an intergovernmental agreement for law enforcement services. It's very close. It mirrors the old contract in many areas. His advice to us, Mr. Siebert's advice to us, is to go ahead and sign the contract. And so that's why it's on the agenda tonight. I guess we need approval from the board for myself and the clerk to authorize the contract between both parties. So,
I guess I'm a little confused. I thought that he didn't want us to sign the contract before and had written a new one.
well, I don't know who was in my office when I talked to him. Somebody was, one of the board members. And he indicated to me, I told him what had transpired, and he says, Gary, the contracts are very similar in nature. He said, the only thing you have to be sure is you have enough insurance to cover you, okay, should something happen, which we do, okay, have that insurance. If you read the liability section of both contracts, they're very similar. So, board's pleasure.
So I have not seen that revision. So I don't know what the changes are. The way I read the old one right now, it says that this is for 3 years. Is the new one for 3 years?
No, you should have, I have a copy, I'll get a copy.
I
Should have had
don't.
a copy. I make copies for everybody. But you're looking at Bob Siebert's contract? Is that what you don't have?
Or you don't have the bill, you don't.
No,
have
this is the new one then, right here.
This is the,
This is the one that I have.
yeah,
I have this one, this one, this one.
I think this is the new one. No,
Then I have these two.
No.
This is Seabird's right here, and this is the one that old Kirby Ski wrote up.
yours
Yeah,
is-
it's a 1-year contract.
yeah, it's a one, where does it even say?
I don't have a copy of it.
Thanks.
See, this one here.
This is the new one. I wrote 2025 on mine.
The new one is,
Yeah. First and spring, this is the new one.
Okay, so I read it now. For 1 year, the annual cost of contracted amount
Yeah.
to be paid by the township village shall be $673,000.
No, you have the wrong one. This is the,
Well, I don't have the good one then.
So, yeah, I never got a copy of the new one either.
pardon me?
I don't have the new one with the new number or anything in it.
Really?
I would point out, though, that the liability section is significantly different. And I think Mr. Siebert would agree. He rewrote it to make it clear that the township was not liable for any actions taken by any village employee or officer or anybody associated with the village. The old contract, or the one that we're being asked to sign, says that we're not liable for actions by the officers. That's a big difference. We've seen what liability does, and We know how it can come back to haunt you. The other thing that he took out was the notion that we would pay unemployment if the officers had to leave because we no longer took services, and that we'd pay that unemployment till it runs out. He took that out of the contract. He also took out a clause that essentially defined what and how we can use different funds to fulfill the obligations of the contract. So there were significant differences. I'm just stating it wasn't just
There's some
a
difference.
word edit, and it was a $650 bill that we paid to have that done, and I'm not certain, maybe they did. I'm not certain that the village board ever saw the revision that we proposed.
I'm not certain either.
I don't know. It just seemed like either they summarily dismissed it or they never got it. And if they never got it, I think that's bad. If they got it and they just poo-pooed it, well, then we disagreed on all those items, but
Well, those are some of the stumbling blocks we've had with them right along from day one. So far as again, I don't mean to be critical, but the communication gap between their village board and the village manager.
Example, when they wanted, Kirby Pants there wanted to take over Howland Road. I went to their meeting and I got up and I asked a question to the village council. They said, "What are you talking about? We don't know anything about this. We don't want no more roads." That information wasn't shared with them. So I agree with Mike. I don't think they probably seen the one that Siebert had put together. So
as we also know, there's a clause in that contract that stipulates what money can be used to fulfill the terms of the contract. Siebert said that, or Mr. Siebert said that should not be in the contract. If it's there, I would suggest that maybe the treasurer or somebody do a run rate analysis. I did one, but I'm not going to do anybody else's job. It's not my job to do it. You will run out of money by January 1st. Before the new influx of tax payments come in, you are going to run out of money. You'll be down to about $1,500. What it'll cause you to do is you will have to take a loan against the general fund because you can't transfer. You'll have to take a loan. Once you take that loan, you've created a debt that you're going to have to recover with the next contract, as well as the fact that you now have created a run rate that runs at a $4,000 a month deficit because we're collecting. If we take the 600,000 that we collect, we're collecting 600,000, paying 650. You're losing about 4,000 a month. So by November of 2026, you have no money left in the police fund because you have to pay back what you borrowed and you have to put in enough. The contract with that stipulation in it, I just want to make sure everybody's aware that next year you have no choice but to raise the millage rate to 2 3/4%. It'll be that, it's a given. It's the only way you can try to keep it fluid.
could be more than that though, too.
That assumes they don't raise their price.
Right.
They already said they're raising the price. That's the slope that we are heading down. So I mean, if somebody can do the analysis and show me I'm all wet, but if you add up what we owe this month and then 6 months at the new rate, I'm telling you in January 1st, we've got about $1,500 left in the account.
It's gonna be close.
It isn't close. We won't have enough.
You've got the other taxes that'll be coming in then, like.
If you get some between the time the bills get there in December till January 1st, yeah, there will be some. I mean, it's hope is never a plan. So yeah, we can hope that happens, but let's assume most people wait and they pay in the last couple weeks before it's due. It's going to leave us short. It's just an eyes wide open. I think everybody has to be aware that that has a potential to come back, and it's going to drive next year a decision that is not going to be popular. So.
Right, and I think we did some rough numbers, Brian, we kind of were aware of that. The good thing is that we're getting interest comes in every month to the tune of a couple $1,000. So that'll help, but I will look at the numbers and try to get a real firm handle on where we will be when that happens.
I have to agree with Mike and Randy. We got 6 comments here from our attorney. We're basically paying attention to very few of them. And one of them was on the liability insurance. And in Article 3, where they say that we can only use SAD funds, he says that should be removed from the contract. I'm looking at a contract that they signed on 1 July. I'm looking at Siebert's 6 comments, that some of them apply to this, what I'm reading from the village. And I'm not convinced either that the village saw what Bob, our attorney, suggested. I don't know why this is so hard. If they had problems with what Bob had suggested, I would think they would come back and negotiate and talk, why do they have a problem with this, that, or the other thing?
That was the purpose of the verbiage in my motion, okay? And I agree with you, Dennis. I don't know whether that document was ever viewed by the village council either.
I have a problem with that. I have a liability problem, and I have the other statement that he said that should be removed. I don't know how we can accept this contract.
I will say something about that statement. I think the reason that statement is in there is because we collect winter taxes from both the township and the village people. So if you don't have that in there and you're using money from the general fund, you're technically double billing the village people who already pay the police, their police portion through the village taxes. That's why I think that is in there for. It's not saying we can't borrow money from the general fund. It's saying you can't use monies from them. And that's because the village pays taxes too. And
I understand
they
that,
shouldn't be
but I
paying
think you're
twice.
walking a fine line. Our attorney has said that should be struck out of the contract. It's not necessary to be in there. And I think I'm with Mike, I think we're walking a fine line down here that we should be able to borrow money from the general fund if need be.
Right,
If you
and
run out of
that's
money-
not what this is saying, though,
Well,
not
I'm reading it
borrowing.
different.
It's saying not using monies from any other fund. It
So,
doesn't say you can't borrow money.
And let's write it in there that it's perfectly legal to borrow from the general fund.
And I don't have a problem with that, I'm
Let's add
just
that to
saying
the
that I
contract.
think that's the reason that was, verbiage was
Well, I think we
originally in
should add
the
that to the
contract.
contract, that it's perfectly legal to borrow from the general fund. We got that from our attorney, MTA attorney, and our auditor. It's perfectly legal to do, because I'm with Mike. I'm concerned that we get back maybe January, February, we run out of money, you have no police service. That's it. I don't know why this has been so hard.
For purposes of tonight, the discussion is on the verbiage in the contract, not the dollar amount, okay? That's already been voted on and accepted and passed, so I'm not sure how to defend either document, because when our attorney looked at it, he didn't like the way it was written. But then in conversation with him over the telephone, when I told him what had transpired, he says, Gary, it's worked for a number of years. The contract is valid because that's what they voted to accept. I wouldn't, at this point, be too upset. Just be sure you've got enough liability coverage, which we do, should something happen in the future. So I'm getting 2 stories, I guess, from our attorney. And he wrote a contract that there's some similarities and there's some differences, yes.
Did Mr. Siebert actually get a copy of what the village approved?
Yes.
He got a copy of that.
Yep.
so at that point though, in fairness to Mr. Siebert, it was obvious to him that it had already been signed and it was too far down the path to withdraw it.
Basically,
So you're kind of stuck with it.
that's what he told me.
Because I remember you telling me that he said, well, you guys are stuck. The fact that we got stuck, I mean, we soiled the sheets on that one if we got stuck. I mean, that revision should have been discussed. We should have had conversation, and whatever terms we had to work on, we could have worked on. We never had that opportunity. And I hearken back to when we were taken to task roundly by the village for even suggesting that there be an extension of the contract. lo and behold, it had been written into the contract that they gave us. And when you asked about it, they said, oh, gee, we didn't realize we did that. So if I sound as though I'm somewhat jaded in terms of my trust, that's why. So I get the feeling they never saw the revision. And if they did, I would have liked to note from them saying, pound sand, we don't like it, something, I don't know, but I don't think they ever saw it. I think they just saw the number, they signed the old contract, and away it went. And that wasn't the motion that we had agreed to. So that's unfortunate.
Not to mention, for the last 2 weeks, we have not had a police contract. I don't know how we received police coverage because we didn't have an extension. We don't have a signed contract. The old contract is expired, and we did not sign the new contract. So I guess this is on good faith of the village. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I don't know what would have happened if we had an incident of some sort. We're essentially outside of their jurisdiction because we're not under contract. I mean, this is just a paid for service agreement.
Well, there were some issues and they did respond to issues on the
No,
township.
I understand that. I understand that they were actually doing the job.
Right.
I was questioning what would happen if something happened, who is responsible, who's liable. We don't have a contract.
Well, at this point, the attorney's advice is to sign the contract, so up to the board.
I'm gonna have to vote no because I haven't seen the contract, because I'd like to read it before I could vote either yes or no. That's my opinion.
Okay, I'd like to some assurance that we could borrow money in the event that we do, otherwise the police services stop. And I think that one sentence is inadequate to do that. If it's okay to borrow money, add a comment in there that the township reserves the right to borrow money from the general fund to ensure that we have continued police protection. I don't see why that's a big problem. And here again, I agree with Mike. If they've seen what Bob has said, and I got Bob's assessment on the old contract, but the two things he pointed out, which is currently in the one they signed, is the liability and the comment about no other funds could be used other than the SAD. And he said, remove those, boost your liability to 5 million. And I'll stay with that, but I can't. I don't know why it's so hard to add a comment regarding.
Could we adjourn a decision on this for a week? Maybe have a special board meeting? Would that give the attorney time to review and everybody examine that and make sure all of our concerns are addressed? Do you think that's possible? We adjourn just that issue for a week?
Asking me?
Everyone.
I'm fine with it because as of right now, I'm a no.
I would be a no too, so I would be fine with that. I'd really like to see the
I really
issues
want to get this
cleaned up.
resolved, but you just can't enter into some crap. I mean, we have to protect ourselves. We can't just fall victim and say, I don't have a say anymore. I was at the meeting when the village council voted on it. No two contracts were not presented or anything. It was just, it's in your packet. They all voted on it. I had to ask afterwards, before they went into closed session, I asked Dale, what did they vote on? No one talked about the contract at all. They didn't talk about it, because I thought some of the points would have came up, the 2-month notice versus a 6-month notice. I thought that would have come up. I thought where the money came from, all of that would have came up. There was virtually no board discussion on their behalf. They just voted for it. So I don't think they ever saw it, to be honest.
I have a question. Right now, does the township have 24/7 coverage?
I don't know.
Does the village have 24/7 coverage? Thursday night, 6:30, I came through the parking lot. 2 cars, 2 SUVs, 1 car out here. Unless that car had 2 officers that came with it, there was only 1 officer on. But I think he was probably floating between the 2 of them. I got a video of it.
That we'd have to take up with the
Yeah,
chief.
I understand that. I'm just saying that, we're supposed to get 24/7 here, and I think there's been other comments made to me by people in the township that there's only one out there. So. Anyways.
So if I made a motion to adjourn signing the police contract until further review by the township attorney, would anybody,
And I would think village council.
Is it review by the township attorney or review by the village and the township attorney? I mean, our attorney has looked at it. He's rendered his opinion. I think the discussion may need to take place with the village to say, were you aware that we had these concerns and we never really had an opportunity to sit down and walk through what
Right.
everybody's feelings were. And so I don't know that it's with the attorney.
Okay,
That's all
so-
I'm saying.
adjourn signing the police contract until further review by the township attorney and the village has occurred.
All township board members.
Okay. Would we like a date on this, or would we like to give ourselves a little bit of time to get all of
If we have
these
another meeting,
things
I'd
in
like to make
motion?
sure that every board member can attend.
Right,
I don't want to have 5 of us or 6 of us here. I want to make sure it's a time, like if Rick can attend, or Dennis or Mike or
right.
whoever.
So maybe not specify a time,
No.
just because it could be fluid as far as scheduling.
Date
right.
to be determined.
Okay, so adjourn signing the police contract until further review by the township attorney and the village has occurred, and all township board members.
Yeah.
All right, that's my
So in
motion.
essence, you're tabling it.
Correct. So that's my motion.
I'll support.
So, okay, so you got a motion on the floor with support? Okay, let's do a roll call vote, Jenny.
Streeter,
Yes?
Dodge,
Yes.
Swears,
Yes.
Kennedy, yes. Escher,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Grosbeck.
Yes.
And I don't leave until the 30th, so I'm here. So any special meetings or whatever, I'm here till the 30th.
Okay, second order of business, Human Resources Manual. We all should have had time to review it. Any questions, comments, concerns from the board reference the manual?
I've gotten a couple of minor edits, but I haven't gotten many. So, I mean, if you have them, again, this is a living, breathing document. Anything in here can be changed. There's no pride of authorship. It just,
I've had quite a few questions, Mike. Should I just take them up with you?
however you want to do it, Dennis.
All right. Can we go to, you don't have page numbers. So, pay practices for salary administration / elected officials.
For elected officials, yep,
Is this strictly for elected officials?
yes,
And then the next section is non-elected.
Yes.
administrative employees.
yes.
Because in some places there you reference non-elected employees. I'm just a little confused.
So I think it specifies, it applies to the treasurer, clerk, supervisor, and trustee. Those are the elected employees. And then in the other page, it was the permit coordinator, zoning administrator, deputy clerk, deputy treasurer, and any other administrative support. I know you did make the suggestion that we include the potential of a deputy supervisor, but I think that runs the whole gamut.
After that.
So the rules for salary administration for elected officials are pretty clearly defined in the MTA manual.
Right.
For the employees, as I call them, non-elected, that falls under the purview of what the board recommends. So that's why they're different.
So we have on our agenda tonight item 6 is a COLA discussion. How would that fall under this? If this would be done during a budget exercise, like in May or June?
Typically, we would do it when we began the budget cycle discussions.
Roger.
And you're going to use the data from the prior December. The Social Security Administration puts out the cost of living calculation.
For the next-
We would start using it in May, decide whether we wanted to accept it in the July 1st budget. My understanding is, and I may be wrong, we accounted for that eventuality in the budget, knowing that if we decided not to, we could take it out. It's easier to take it out than to put it in. So we accounted for it in this year's budget. If we decided to grant those, it's covered. But it's up to the board if they want to approve a COLA adjustment or not. If they want to approve a step adjustment, all those things are up to the board.
I'll give it to you, Mike. Well, I think this
Yeah.
is a great start. Appreciate it.
It isn't just Mike. I had Rick Dodge and I had Kim Streeter right there with me, so they helped every step of the way.
Okay, so I guess the goal here tonight is to accept this document by motion.
Do we want to accept it by motion? Because do we need to bring it back and then accept it again every amendment that is made? Was that the goal? Or were we just looking to get a document that we could internally use and edit and amend, just like our personnel policy?
So the thought was, and I know Rick and I had talked about this, to accept it under a motion with the understanding that it can be modified at any time by a collective vote of the board. So any provision in here could be changed at any time if the board decides to. It was just a starting point in a document that everybody felt comfortable to begin with, because stuff happens and we can't anticipate what it'll be. So
Right.
it's not etched in stone.
Okay,
It just says, hey, here's our starting off point. If we feel strongly
okay,
that something in there doesn't make sense, we collectively.
right. I mean, we even exchanged an email tonight about an issue that needed to be,
Yeah.
Addressed.
It can be a
Okay.
living, breathing document.
Yep.
Just so we
Okay.
know we have a policy to refer to.
perfect.
That's all.
So I'll make a motion to accept the Almont Township Human Resources Manual as presented.
Support.
We have a motion on the floor with support. Any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Planning Commission appointment, we have an opening due to Mr. Blumline's resignation. You should all have a copy of Brian's letter, well-written letter. I'm recommending Tom Shane. Is that the
Shane,
pronounce? Okay, Tom Shane. I did talk to Tom. He's interested and willing to step up from the ZBA to the Planning Commission. And that appointment would be through December 31st of '26. So I would entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to approve Tom Shane to be appointed to the Planning Commission with the expiration date of 12/31/2026.
Support. Motion on the floor with support. Any other discussion,
Is it-
questions?
Isn't it the supervisor's appointment?
With board approval.
I know, but that, should it be part of the motion that it's the supervisor's?
Recommendation.
I don't think that's necessary. Is
That's
that what we have
that's
done
it's
historically?
process. It's process that Gary appoints them and we ratify it, right? So it's not, the board isn't saying, we're just agreeing to it. I know it's semantics, but that's how it works.
His suggestion is on the agenda, I think, is what,
right?
so.
Like
but
his-
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
That's all.
It's his suggestion with the board approval.
Historically, I believe we've done it with a straightforward motion
So amend it.
to say what?
She's saying it's always like that.
the way I made the motion, that we're approving it as the board,
Supervisor in the past has always made a recommendation
right?
to us and made the motion, then someone has supported it. So by you doing it, you should just say, because it was the supervisor's recommendation to appoint him.
All right, then I will amend my motion to
Support.
include that.
Did I take a vote yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Kind of lost me here. All right.
Not yet.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye opposed? Okay. All right, ZBA appointment. Since Mr. Shane has moved from the ZBA to the Planning Commission, we have a vacancy on the Planning Commission, and I would recommend Stephen Haynes, who was our alternate member on the ZBA, to be moved up to a regular member of the ZBA. And I did talk to Mr. Haynes, and he's interested and excited about that prospect. So his term would expire 12/31/25, the end of this calendar year. So I would entertain a motion reflecting the ZBA appointment.
I make a motion to appoint Stephen Haynes to the ZBA.
Support.
Huh?
With term ending
With term ending 12/31/26,
25
Are we
by
gonna,
recommendation of.
by recommendation of the supervisor.
I will second that, Randy.
All right, got a motion on the floor with support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye opposed? Motion carries.
He has taken some classes too, has he?
Yes, he has.
The only comment that I had prior to the vote was I still have concern,
I know you do.
so
Recognize.
please recognize that I think there's freedom of speech, and then there's defacing the community. You don't have to leave that sign up for 3 years to make your point. Everything he had issue with has not been resolved. So the site plan is still open, the open issues are still there, so. I said my piece.
Your comments are recognized, Rick.
Thank you.
Item number 5, paving of the township/village parking lot. We've got 4 or 5 bids in front of us. Mr. Kirby has been approaching the township on this for several months. He asked me to put this on our agenda. His first choice on these bids is Creative Asphalt. His second choice is Aztec Asphalt. Creative is $141,000. Aztec is $154,500. So floor is open for discussion from the board.
Well, just so everybody knows, I drive gravel roads home, and this parking lot is much smoother than the gravel roads. I have no desire to spend $100,000 plus to make this a very
Racetrack.
smooth racetrack. I will vote no all day on that. I do not think we need that.
The question that I have, you got trees in here at $133,300, the cheapest bid. And then if you go down to this, there it says the township portion of the work is $69,000, village portion of the work is $63,000. Well, who made the call that we have to put more asphalt on the north side versus the south side? Did the township have any input in this?
No.
This is Mr. Kirby here. This is his way of saying this is my way or no way. I'm voting no on any of these proposals. That's where I stand, because the township hasn't been involved into it.
I still don't know if we even own the building or if we're renting it.
I
I'd
agree.
really like to know that
Yeah.
before we put money in.
Okay.
And quite honestly, there's roads out there that are in rough shape. And we need, before we work on our house, we need to work on the roads that are out there where people have long-standing complaints with holes and ditches and stuff. I think the optics of us paving this and not fixing every road out there, that just doesn't feel right. I would be inclined to be a no, but I do want to know if we even own it.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, so on having the added thickness on the north side, that's supposed to accommodate the trucks.
trucks,
We
yeah.
don't even know if we're gonna have the trucks in a few months. Because if we don't find another avenue for recycling, that's probably gonna go away. So I would rather at least postpone the work till then to find out. Second of all, find out if we actually own part of the building, but
Well, I guess, fine if we own the land. I don't think we own any of the land.
not according to BSNA. I just looked. The tax bill is in the village's name, not ours.
I don't know. I mean, it's just, I don't know what BSNA is trying to do for the address. I don't understand.
Well, you can look up property ownership by the address.
Right.
When I looked it up, it's the village, not the township. If you look up like the park, it's both.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll table it.
I guess, Gary, we have a 3-year contract on this, or no, 3 more. We're into the 3rd year of a 5-year contract.
I've got 2 more years on the,
Okay.
on the-
I don't see any difference in the damage
Recycling.
on that side versus damage on that side.
Yeah.
So I don't know that there's a need for additional dimensions, because the trucks might come in that way, but I think they're circling in. So the damage to me doesn't look any different.
And if we're gonna pay half, I think we should have input as to what happens. I mean, we're dying for parking spaces during election. We could probably add on that side over there, and then all the ground asphalt millings that are come out could go back here, and we would have like some overflow parking that would not be, wouldn't be asphalt, but at least it would be millings, where you would be able to pull next to the dumpsters there and then park. So, for all the people that we have in the audience that need parking spaces.
so we'll table that until we figure out what we're gonna do, find out ownership issues and so on and so forth. Item number 6, raises for deputy clerk, zoning administrator, and COLA for the board. In keeping with what is suggested in the Human Resources Manual, those 2 individuals, I guess, would be in line for an increase. Is that the way I'm understanding it, Jenny?
Yeah, according to that, Jen's been here over 2 years. So I guess I don't like that she makes the same as people that just came in when she's been here. My deputy
She
makes
would-
the same,
So she
even though
would
she's
be,
been here 2 years compared to people who just started. I don't,
she would be moved to what dollar amount then?
wasn't it 21?
I think she was going up to the first step. So the HR policy recognizes longevity, and each year that you're in the job, you qualify, assuming you do an adequate job, for an additional step, which is $1 an hour. So, in this particular case, we said, well, okay, since we just started this, she'd be eligible for her first step. The other one was the zoning administrator. I don't personally know what she makes, but I think Jenny had said that she doesn't make what the other assistants are making. So the thought was then she should at least be at that level. So those were the 2 that I think we were looking at.
The zoning current wage is $18.50.
Okay, so it would go from $18.50, yeah. That's a $1,500 a year increase, and then for the deputy clerk, it's $936 increase.
And that is exactly why the HR committee wanted to get this in writing, so it was clearly defined, and it was very structured, and people would understand that there is a bonus to staying in their job and learning more, but, and I did the math on this. If we give the zoning administrator that increase, it's basically $30 a week, $7.50 a day at 4 days. And then the deputy clerk, it would be $18 a week, $4.50 additional a day.
So where does that put the zoning administrator?
$30 a week,
No, I don't, is she salaried or is she?
salaried,
Oh, okay.
yes.
Yeah, it's salary, but it's 20 per hour, but
I tried to,
it's a weird how it's always been set up. It's 20 an hour. She gets paid for 50 hours a month for doing the zoning.
I tried to divvy it up to have it do apples, to apples, but
So with that being said, then would she start falling under the conditions of the new resource manual, or are we gonna continue to let her work weekends and 6 o'clock in the morning and all that kind of stuff?
no, it is very clear in the HR manual, we have set hours. And if there is a need for additional time, then that has to be cleared by the proper people and her supervisor. And that it will basically tighten some things up, and that's a good thing.
I guess my question would be, do you guys want to switch her to an hourly rate instead of a salary and just cap her at that 50 hours a week, or how do you want? Because hers is all, I've always thought it's weird how it's been, because it's considered a salary in the payroll system.
Yeah, so I guess when she was working as the permit coordinator, I would have asked Joe in this case. I don't know who, I think Gary, do you supervise her? The zoning administrator? Okay, so I guess, I don't know however you guys feel is fair. I don't want to do anything that, no good deed ever goes unpunished. So I don't want to do something that comes back as a negative, but
But we have to be careful too with the new laws regarding time off and all of that as far as her hours are concerned, which I think she was already informed of that, right?
And that pay comes out of the general fund. That does not come out of building.
The administrators pay.
Correct, yes.
I mean, how she's set up now at 50 hours, like, she went down to 2 days a week. She's been in here more helping with training Laura, but that's 12 hours for 2 days a week. And then she does 2 hours at the meeting, so that's your 50 hours a month that she puts in. So if we want to still just keep it in the system as a salary for 50 hours at $20, or if you want her to go to an hourly rate, it doesn't matter. I just need to know
Will there
how
be,
to enter it in the system.
which is easier to administer?
will there be a limit to the,
Hourly rate is easier, isn't it?
do you set a limit on the hourly rate?
Well,
Or I'm not the hourly rate, I'm sorry, on the number of hours that we need the staffing? Do we set that? I mean, there's
It would have to be.
Okay.
You're not in your own.
because the job does not need 4 days a week.
Yeah, so I
Right,
I
but if a
just need
situation
to-
arises where she has to come in and do both again, I mean,
Well, she was paid,
hopefully that doesn't happen.
but she was paid for that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I just want
definitely.
to make sure that she's
She,
compensated. for-
yes.
Yes, she got paid out of the building department for training.
So I guess I'd like to make a motion to increase the zoning administrator pay to $20 per hour effective 7/1/25.
I have a suggestion.
Yes,
Can you just say with maximum 50 hours per month?
that's part of my motion. I will amend my motion.
We have a motion on the floor.
Just, sorry,
Go ahead.
did you get a second?
I'll support it.
Support?
So,
Yeah.
because I didn't, she attends the planning commission meetings, right? Those are, I mean, I don't know if we went salaried and hourly.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
If we did the 50 hours max,
Wait,
that's 12 hours a week and then 2 hours for 1 month
The
meeting.
planning commission.
Yeah, for the planning commission meeting at 2 hours.
Roger,
They don't usually go over 2 hours, do they?
try not to.
Right, so.
Dennis is like, ugh, please no.
Okay, have a motion on the floor with support. Any other discussion, comments?
That's for both the deputy clerk and the zoning administrator.
That was,
So-
that's just zoning, it was just the zoning administrator, correct? Gil?
Yeah.
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
So you have her on hourly then, no salary now?
With a max of 50 hours per month.
So it's just gonna be-
Promotion was $20 an hour per hour.
So it's hourly, no salary now?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Deputy Clerk. We have a motion for the Deputy Clerk.
I'd like to make a motion to increase the deputy clerk to $21 per hour, effective July 1st, 2025.
Support.
Motion is on the floor for the Deputy Clerk. With support, any board discussion, questions, comments?
You can't set hours on that because she's a helper at elections, correct?
Right, like right now, she's
Okay.
down to 2 days a week.
Okay.
But
No,
elections, it'll-
I just,
it'll
because
definitely
the other one was
increase.
50 hours, I'm just
Right.
asking the question here. But she comes in and at elections too, so.
Yeah, then
Okay,
she'll be
all
a
right.
lot more
Got
hours, but I put that in the budget. Like I over budgeted for
Got it.
election,
She reports to Jen, so
yeah.
she manages that.
Motion's on the floor with support, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Cost of living, COLA, for the elected officials. What's the board's pleasure here?
I think that we also had talked about COLA for the employees, also the non-elected employees. In this case, it would be the deputy clerk and the zoning administrator only, because the deputy treasurer and the permit clerk have only been employed just a few weeks. So I don't think they quite qualify for that yet, but I think it would be a good idea to approve a 2.5% cost of living allowance for those two positions.
That's keeping with the guidelines in the Human Resources Manual, I believe.
So
Yes.
the guidelines, the way we wrote them, it's subject to approval by the board year to year. So again, this is not a foregone conclusion. If the board feels that we should implement it, we can implement it.
So that would be my motion to
So
No, could you repeat it?
make a motion to increase the deputy clerk and the zoning administrator 2.5% for a cost of living allowance effective 7/1/25.
So are you gonna do that before or after?
The increase? I would do that after. I don't think it makes that big of a difference financially, and that would be the right thing to do, I think.
We have support.
Support. Support.
Support.
Yeah, Rick did.
Okay. Motion is on the floor with support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. And that was for the clerk and the zoning administrator. Am I correct?
Correct, yes.
yes,
COLA for the board. What are we doing here?
I did some math on this one too. So if, and again, it's been budgeted for in our HR manual. And this would be, again, a 2.5% cost of living. If we do not take it this year, we cannot piggyback on that moving forward. So if we choose not to do that, it is done. And this is, I think, what happened in the past that caused us to be in the position we are now with salaries. So if we all get a 2.5% cost of living allowance, the trustees, we get an additional $2.78 a week. It would be $145 a year increase. I would get 962. That would be $18.50 a week. The clerk would get $1,143. That would be about $22 a week. And then the supervisor would get an $800 increase, which would be $1,538. So it works out right around $3, $5, and $4 a day.
It's $34.85 a year.
Yeah, you did your math too.
So it's on
Yeah,
it's in the
right.
booklet on the third
Yeah.
page.
That's the total, but the individual, I tried to break it down for everybody. And what's nice about the HR manual is that if we all must be fair, and if we accept the cost of living allowance, we all accept it. It is as a board.
We have a motion.
Do we need a resolution for each position for that?
In the past, yes, we've always done a separate resolution for each one. Which,
Do you-
oh, you would just do his total for, I think they're on here.
How about if we just put a resolution together and have it for this next meeting that we're coming up to?
You want to do it for the next?
Could we,
that's fine.
could we do that?
That would
way
be
we can
fine.
all
Yep.
have a resolution to look at.
I would also suggest that we make the implementation or effective date the day that we approve the police contract. Because until we get it resolved, I don't think we deserve it. None of us.
Okay.
So are we adjourning that then?
So just table.
Table.
Okay.
For the board.
Okay.
Okay, public comment. Anything from the public? Pick on somebody? Okay, correspondence. I just got a copy of a letter from a gal named Julie Davis, where she's acknowledging the work of one of her officers on a situation that occurred over in Dryden Township. I believe it was over the 4th of July weekend, Officer Zuck. And she was very happy with the way the officer handled himself at the scene. Our police chief is putting a letter of condemnation in Officer Zuck's 201 file. I gave you all a copy of it. Makes me feel good that the public wrote that letter, acknowledging the efforts of
Another
the
community.
officer. Pardon me?
Another community did that.
Yes.
Dryden, right? Yes.
Mike, you've got something here FYI'd on our ATV ordinance.
Yes, I put the copy of the Almont ATV ordinance and the county ordinance in everybody's mailbox. The reason I did that, I've been asked by a couple of different people why Almont has an ordinance that is different than the one that's countywide. So the other communities around us all adopt the county ordinance, and then there are specific roads that they identify that are not open to ORV travel. Almont's ordinance says any paved road, no ORVs. So I'm sharing this with everybody so you can see what the difference is in the two. And I'm hoping that we can have some discussion and decide if we want to continue with a special carve-out ordinance for Almont, or are we fine with adopting the same ordinance that I guess everybody around us has, and that would open up a few of the paved roads in Almont for ORVs. So the rules are all in there. Got to be 16, 25 miles an hour on the side of the road. I think it's restricted from M53 to Bishop Road on Dryden. There's a couple of other sections in the township of paved road that they won't let you on, but otherwise it opens it up. So this is just this month for information, but enough people have brought it up to me that it's included. I actually had a chat with the police chief that, yeah, it seems a little bit confusing because you're not always sure, you know, if you're supposed to be on this road or not. If it was the county-wide plan, then it would be, I think, maybe a little easier to administer.
To enforce.
Yeah, but I just share that with everybody.
And
That's all.
even the owners of the side-by-sides and stuff, when you buy one, it comes with the software and it shows the map and it tells you which which roads are legal and which ones aren't. And in our case, it's not. So I had actually someone come over to my house the other day and buy something off a marketplace. And he came rolling in a side-by-side and I'm like, oh, you got a plate on this? He's like, no, you can ride on it. It's right here in the map. And that's because it uses the county map.
Yep.
And then I think there's some safety concerns with crossing Van Dyke
That's
at
my
the, you know,
concern.
where they can
I
use the
think it's
light
Safer to cross at the light.
to get gas and stuff like that. It's way safer to cross at the light than it
Yeah.
is to go up to Hollow Corners Road to cross.
I've played that game of chicken on Hollow Corners crossing Van Dyke, and that's no fun.
I think safety, I'm for, because you can cross that Tubbs Ring at that light.
That's how the police that's how they're enforcing it now anyways.
Scary.
It kind of protects the riders because right now it's not allowed, but most, if not all, of the officers allow it until there's like a bad day or something like that. So here you know, drive to your neighbor's house every day for a year, and then all of a sudden someone's having a bad day and you get made an example of because there's this law that's hanging out there. I think we should address it.
So I didn't want to blindside everybody. I was just providing it as information. The map for the county ordinances on the back, and you've got both ordinances. So if you have time, please look at it. Maybe we can discuss it next month.
Okay, very good. We'll have a month to look it over and put it on the agenda next month, Mike.
Yep.
See what the board wants to do with it. Anything else from the board under correspondence?
Just a note there, the letter there from the gentleman on Hollow Corners Road, James Harrington.
Yeah.
That's in regards to the water issue out there that's been ongoing. I talked to Destin over there at the road commission engineer. I said, how do you deal with these wet problems? And he said, have the landowners, homeowners, whatever, write a letter to the township, forward that on from the township over to Eagle in Lansing. Let Eagle come out and deal with it and get a direction to go. If there's a waterway that's been blocked, yeah, I mean, that's.
Well, that would apply to west of Shoemaker on Hollow.
That is correct. That is correct.
There's several areas. in the
There's
township.
other issues out there too that,
Okay.
so I thought there was gonna be some more letters than that. I did say something to that other
Right.
Jonathan out there about a letter and he said he was gonna write one, but I haven't seen it.
Well, in the meantime, I'll get a hold of Eagle and get their take on everything,
Right.
see what they could
Okay.
do, if anything. Anything else from the board? Correspondence, anything? No? Board discussion, paving of Scotch Settlement Road. We had a bid that came in, May 14th, 25, from a Saginaw, I guess Saginaw Paving, maybe their name is. The bid was provided through Lapeer County Road Commission. So we had a 3 to 5 year project. We've done the ditching, we've done tree removal, we've replaced some cross tubes. The bid is for resurfacing 2 miles, 10,625 feet at a bid price of $1,113,000. So we've had some in-house discussion on how we want to pay for it. Do we want to pay part of it cash? Do we want to bond part of it? There was some discussion with Dustin and the the company out of Saginaw about maybe doing a lift this year and a lift next year. Randy came up with some information that Great Lakes Water Authority, they have an easement and a water line that I'm not sure if it's under the road or if it's on the easement. Both.
It's on the west side of the road.
That they may be doing some work, okay, on those pipes. So I did call Great Lakes Water Authority several times. I can't get a human to answer the phone. I left a phone message to call me,
So
either at work or on my cell.
I did get one, Gary.
Huh?
So I used to sit on the State Infrastructure Coordination Committee, so I did get somebody at Gliwa.
Did you?
This is the plan. By 2007 or 2027, they are going to do a complete inspection of that 2 miles. They're doing the entire line all the way from Utica up to Imlay City Pump Station.
Okay.
But the stuff we're talking about is part of that. So I talked to Olivia, who is the engineer, and she said, well, that piece of line and the one that they're currently working on that goes over to Port Huron, probably two of the most suspect and critical lines that they have on the system because they've been in a long time, they're old, and they haven't been inspected in a long time. She said they will not damage the lines when they do the inspection, but you don't know what the inspection is going to find. So part of why they have that infrastructure coordination task force is so that nobody goes in and paves a road and then the next year some other entity comes in and digs it up and you end up with cross hatches going across it and all the sinking and everything else.
So what's their time frame on it, Mike?
They should know by 2027. There's a budget that's kind of laid out here. It looks like design and engineering is going to start in 27. They're going to do some of the initial work as early as 26. We should know by 27 if any section of that 2 miles is going to have to be dug up.
Can you make me a copy of that with a contact number on it? Not right now, Mike, but
Sure.
eventually, okay?
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, that's 2 years from now, right? 2027. Do we want to spend $1 million on that road?
And have it tore up?
Right.
Not by me.
I wouldn't do it.
No, and Destin, I mean, I don't know your conversation with him after we got off the phone there. And even the paving guy today says, no, don't pave it if there's any chance of them ripping it up. We want a nice road. And if they rip up a section of it and patch it in.
I agree.
It's not gonna be a nice road.
Okay, so the bid price is going to go up in 2 years. That's obvious.
It could be, you know, the options too, that I believe that you talked to with Tom was that, you know, if we paid half of it this year, this is not that we're going to pay half this year, that he could hang on to it there at a paving company and then give it to the county and they could hang on to it a little while till we could pay it, maybe. That there's options.
So it sounds to me like we're tabling the idea for 2 years.
Well, unless they,
That's when we're going to know. I mean, it's a crapshoot. They may come back in 2 years and say, it looks great.
Right.
They don't know what they don't know.
Well,
And I tried to ask her, I said, well, what's your hit rate been on other lines that you've done this with? It's just, there's no correlation because they're put in differently, different soil conditions, different everything. You can't use one to predict the other. So I thought, okay, fine.
when was that water line put in, Dick?
66.
In 66,
66?
1966.
and 66.
Well, they'll probably find problems.
They might. Yeah, that's why I called them initially because I just didn't want to,
I think there's a leak on Scott Sutherland.
yeah.
I really do. No, I do, Rick.
They've had a leak on the water road, right at the Almont. Back in 70.
So how, sorry.
That is a 96-inch crock?
96, yeah.
96, man.
Okay.
Inside the bench.
Yeah.
So they dig a hole, it's gonna be huge.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna destroy the road.
if they dig it up, they'll destroy the
Yeah,
road.
it'd take the whole, west side of the blacktop off. So,
Well, that's good to know.
Will that, and in
At that point, they
27,
just run 53.
they hopefully will know, and that could get pushed back too, you know?
Well, they
so-
might blacktop it though,
And they might blacktop it.
right?
So,
So that's the
Right.
second part of it is if they find it necessary to dig it up, then you might have a partner in trying to repave. If you do it on your own, they'll say,
All right,
good for you.
okay,
how,
What's that?
They did it the first time.
Yeah.
right.
what kind of deterioration would that road have another 2 years? It's a little bumpy now,
Just a little.
just a little bumpy. Right, yeah, we're used to the
It's great.
roads. Okay,
All right, so we're in a holding pattern. I appreciate that information.
No problem. I'll get you you can
Yeah.
probably have this copy. It's no big deal.
I think that we should still have in our back pocket, how we want to approach paying for it. At least a general idea. It's worth a discussion. Doesn't have to happen tonight, but moving forward, we should have a pretty good plan if we're going to get a bond for a portion of it, take a portion from the general fund. I think we should have, We should be ready.
You could also do a loan
Yeah.
if you cared to. I mean, there's various options, yes.
just can't do a special
It
assessment.
obviously gives us time to research it.
Did Dustin recommend one lift and then the year later, second lift?
That was an idea that Dustin came up with, but I think the whole project right now, Dennis, is gonna be on ice, I think.
And for them to come in and do 1 mile and come back and do another mile, the guy today says you're further ahead to do 2 miles, they're gonna move the equipment in, do it, get out, instead of coming in,
Right.
back and forth, so he
Right.
did.
How do they do 2 separate lifts with that amount of truck traffic on there? Because that's taking away the cap. I don't do roads for a living, but if they put, 3 inches on there.
What they
whatever,
did, the way I was told that they'd come in and put a lift on 1 year, let it set for a year, find out where all the soft spots are, that are gonna fade out, and then come back and put a lift on, and hopefully it would be a smoother road.
Hopefully it's not a racetrack.
Guarantee it will be.
Okay, the other item I had down here is we've got some funding in Scott Settlement Cemetery. We removed some trees. Do we want to put a fence up? Don't we want to put a fence up? Trees, whatever. That project we discussed several months back. We haven't done anything yet, so I don't know what the board's pleasure is. I'm in favor of putting up some type of cemetery type style fence. While we've got the money, that money is supposed to be used in perpetuity for that maintenance of that cemetery. So there is money there for that project if the board decides they want to do it, so.
If you go out and you look at it, and you and I talked about this, where I'm no expert on how big a crypt is or how big a casket is or how they set them, but I don't think you can fit a tree in between the end of the crypt and the road right away. They're like this far away.
Right.
I don't know that a tree row or bush row is going to work. You might have to go with a fence because otherwise you're going to get the same problem. You're going to have roots and it might not go so well.
We have permission from the board to get a price on a fence?
Well, I think we talked about this before, and we had some of the residents come in and talk about it. I know Kim Shaw spoke about it. There was another person. They were against it. There hasn't been a fence there for quite some time, probably at least 30 years. The residents that actually, John and Sue, they abut to 2 sides of the cemetery. So they own to the west and to the north side. All of those pine trees are theirs. So I'd like to hear what the residents have to say. You know, they have to live with it. There hasn't been a fence there. There hasn't been any kind of damage, vandalism, anything like that. I mean, we had 150-year-old trees there.
I think the fence that Gary's talking about is more decorative though, not
Similar to what's at.
a chain link fence or anything
No.
like that. Something to,
Yeah, but isn't that something that just has to get maintenance? You got to weed whack around it. If it's an aluminum fence, the wire's going to eat away at the bottom of the fence, just like.
if you left it up,
Rail.
mowers could go, I don't know.
Similar to what Ferguson has, similar to what you see Metamora Way. I mean, that's up to the board. I mean, we discussed it, but we never made a decision on it.
Would it go on the property line, or are you talking four-sided?
No, just in the front,
Just in the front.
just in the front.
On the property line, because the flagpole and that plaque are not,
I think they're outside.
they're outside, they're in the right of way.
Yeah.
If you look at the property line. So they're already outside the inside of the right of ways.
We planted those trees in '87 when Willie Moreland took care of the cemetery. And that's why he never put a fence up. Because there's 2 rows, the trees are 60, 70 feet tall, you can't even see through there, so. And how many people actually drive by there from the township? The border's a half mile down the road, 99% of the people are going to work somewhere else. I don't know, it just seems like a waste of money. It's never had a fence, I mean, it never had a fence in the front since 1826. Just had those trees.
I like the idea of a fence. I understand what you folks are saying too.
But there's added expense,
There is.
There has to be more expense to the lawn maintenance, because they have to weed whack more. And are they gonna be able to get the mower, if you look at the angle of the ditch right there, it's very steep for them to even mow it as it is now. And when you put a fence at that angle and the grade markers, you cannot, it's gonna be very difficult for them to even try to mow if you put that fence on.
What's the thought of putting some like miniature trees up there, not in a grave, but there's maybe openings someplace along there where there's nothing, putting like a tree that only gets so big there, just to kind of spruce it up that way?
Yeah,
Arborvitae's or something.
something like that. I'm just concerned with the maintenance, because once they start weed whacking, even if it's a metal fence, once the paint chips off, then it starts rusting, and now you got the maintenance of the upkeep of who's gonna paint it. So it just all, you end up paying for all of that in the long run.
I have driven by there. My parents live over there and I grew up over there. And when you drive by, I mean, I think we'll remember those beautiful trees. And that was not our call to take those down. But it just looks so sad. And I know a cemetery is sad, but it just looks so bleak when you drive by. So I think my thought is let's do something, and do something.
Yeah, I agree, but I think with the fence too, people that come in to maintain their gravesite or whatever, or visit, it's gonna cut into the parking spaces because there is no room, really, they just pull off on the side of the road, so that's also could impact the space for people to pull.
So would we have the option of what Randy was suggesting, what they're suggesting, shrubbery or a fence? We'd have it one of the other things.
Well, I feel like this is where we always come around to this same question. So can we think about it a little bit more? Everybody.
Price it and see what, if you
Right.
can't get anything in the budget.
Yeah, I would suggest, get a price on a fence, Gary.
Yeah.
See, something that's gonna be up off the ground.
Mhm.
It could be mowed or whatever and maintained easy, or get a hold of cemetery sexton, find out if there's any spots out there to put any like smaller trees in there, out of the road right away and not in somebody's gravesite.
That's gonna be hard to do, I think, but,
It's tight.
well, I'll ask them. Okay.
And we don't want in 27, everything, if we plant something, to be dug up, because I don't know where that line is. So,
Whatever we plant would be exactly where the fence is. So the story holds true for the fence or whatever we plant.
it just, we're trying.
I'll get a
We're trying.
price and we'll see where we go with it. Anything else? Anybody have anything else? Mike?
So, well, the one thing I was gonna ask, I mean, when I saw the $1,113,000 road thing initially, and I think I talked about it once before, can we just take a little time, and everybody's got a lot of institutional memory on some of these pitfalls that are out there that we are kind of aware of might happen, that we might have to use general fund money for? You know, like at home, if I know I'm gonna need a new water heater in a couple of years, I have that documented and in my head that, okay, I gotta make sure I got money set aside to take care of that water heater when it fails. And when you look at the 1.1 million for the road, and then you look at 75,000 out here, all that money that we're talking about taking out of the general fund balance, I would really like to know, like, what are all the contingencies? Because if this happens and that happens and that happens, all that money's got to come from somewhere. And I don't want to deplete the general fund balance so far that we hit a point where we say, oh, geez, now we got something we absolutely got to pay for, we don't have the money for. I mean, it looked like we had, you know, enough to cover those two items, but I don't know where all these other, you know, we got to do some ditching here, and we got drains that are bad there, and we've got this and that. Everybody's got these kind of in their memory. Can we maybe just collectively just jot down where we think we have some financial exposure down the road? And then we know to hold that level of balance in the general fund so that if it happens, it's covered and it doesn't come up as a surprise.
Sure.
I'm just asking if we could collectively do that.
I think it's a good idea. Randy might be able to touch base with the road commission. Find out we got some surprises coming.
Well,
The map that's on, the map that's on the road commission
with
website.
ditching possibly
Yeah.
and failing culverts, okay, due to these rainstorms that we've had. So it's a good thought, Mike. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, 1.2 million leaves us, what, 600,000 in our general fund balance, and that's getting a little low if
And-
that happens, so.
And don't forget, like Jenny and I have updated the board. We're looking at some serious computer software things we need to do, which is probably about 70,000 coming up in the next couple of years.
And I've been told at my next clerk's meeting that they are probably gonna require us to update all of our election equipment.
Of course they are.
So that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. Doesn't mean we have to do it right now, but just so that we have it on our radar. And then we know it's a possibility, and then we can throttle how close we want to get to that number. It just makes budgeting a lot easier.
Does the state offer anything on it?
Mike, when we go through our
In the
auditor
past, they have.
presentation,
They have.
that's
They
a good
have in the
question
past,
for
I don't
him.
know if they will.
Okay.
Again.
Yeah, or we could
And
just,
what the recommended fund balance is.
well, they'll tell you you're supposed to have, I think it was 6 months worth of
There's-
operating
right.
revenue, but he won't know anything about if Randy knows there's ditching that's coming up, or if we know that there's a sinkhole somewhere that could,
Correct.
you know, he's not gonna know any of that, so everybody seems to know about these little things. Putting them all in one place and just keeping our eye on them might not be a bad idea.
I agree.
Did we have any washouts?
Oh, yeah, we had a lot of them.
Like over like by Sand Hill or any of that? Did that hold where they did the limestone on the hill?
I think there was one on Shoemaker Road out there, Shoemaker and General Square, the culvert went out.
Right.
I met out there with, Jason's been on vacation. And I'm not even gonna bother to call him because he's probably replacing culverts right now, but there's the one sinkhole over there on Kidder Road.
I gave him my list today.
So you did.
Yeah, I did.
There was a gentleman that took over the spot, Jeff out of North Branch for a couple weeks. Very good guy, went over on Shoemaker Road, checked it out. He had a talk with the engineering over there. They got, I don't know, 6 times the culvert in there for Wheatland Drive, and it's plugged up. And it only needs like 100 feet there. And why it's there, no idea. They're recommending dig it up and ditch it. Would take care of that because it went across the road into, I can't remember the name of that private road across the road. Tom Evans lives down there. He dragged all the gravel, what he could, back up there. And And then Kidder Road over here, where that sinkhole was, Jeff went over there and he got down in the hole. The culvert's all rotted out on the bottom. That's why the water went down there. He went to the other side, it's rotted out, so there's a cross culvert there that we gotta put on Kidder Road. And there's one up there at the end of Kidder Road by East St. Clair that is in the village that they're gonna have to replace that one there also.
That's big too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jenny, do you have anything? Okay. Kim? Rick, Dennis?
Yeah, I want to talk to the board. I think, Gary, you and I are having conversations with Roe. We are not getting real good support from Roe and the Planning Commission. We got some things on the horizon. Allegedly, I think we were left high and dry when Alex left for whatever reason. We had a conversation with, we believe, one of the managers over there last week. She's supposed to give us a contract proposal this week.
This week, right.
With some costs, but they're trying to hire people, and I didn't get a warm feeling we're gonna have much support. We do have some site plans coming at us. I'm hoping, well, she's hoping by the end of July, so we'll hire another person to cover our township. Right now, we have a team, they call it a team, but we're not getting very good support. I'm not optimistic that how much longer we should stay with the road, to be honest with you.
What's our alternative?
Well, I think I would consult with Corey, because he has kind of the pulse of many communities, or even maybe Joe, because he's a zoning administrator somewhere else. The guy that Joe has, wherever he's a zoning administrator, is working on solar ordinance with us. However, we're not making much progress on it, in my opinion.
What was the lady that was with Roe that left?
Caitlin
Okay,
Where's she?
had a competitor.
Is that an option?
Yes.
we're gonna see a contract. We don't have a contract with Roe. Typically, you don't, because then you'll be paying a retainer fee, whether you used them or not. So Gary's supposed to get
It's funny that she didn't even know. She didn't know herself.
That's what bothers me, Gary.
What about checking in with this other company to find out if they're willing to
Yeah, we can, sure.
do that? Just because when they come back with a contract, you don't have anything to compare it to. I would, if things were working good with this lady that left and where she is now, get them up. I'd get some numbers from them.
Yeah, I think there's some other numbers Bonnie uses, Washington Township uses somebody else.
Okay, I would start looking now.
Yeah, I agree.
We're gonna get caught here because
Well,
I'm pretty sure 90% done with that solar ordinance, but we're not moving forward at all. We should have been. My target is to get it before the planning commission in August and before the board, hopefully in September. I don't have any confidence that's gonna happen.
They've been terrible ever since Doug passed away. Roe has been terrible. The last planner was absolutely terrible.
Gary, do you have-
We'll
Gary?
check with some other companies and see what they have to offer.
I can get you the contact information of where Caitlin is.
There was one thing I just thought, just an update on our new website. They are in the final stages of getting things to us for a final look. So I've asked Rick to help me with another set of eyeballs, just go through, make sure everything looks good, make sure things connect where they're supposed to be connecting, and if we have any additions or thoughts that would make things work better. So we're getting there. It's coming along.
Shoot me think something. Just so the community knows, everyone will be getting a new voter registration card in the mail because the boundaries changed by the state for the Senate. And we went from District 24 to District 23, which required me to send every registered voter a new voter registration card. So those should be going out in the mail on Wednesday.
Okay. Good. We have a motion to adjourn.
I will make that motion.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we stand adjourned.
Bye. Turn this off.
Hang on, I'm gonna shut it off.
Should be there.